Hey, Mr. McChesney. I'm setting up my campsite and cook site right now for requirement number 6. Right now, we're going to start breakfast. I have all of my ingredients in this backpack, and I have all of my water in the REI right here.
Ready? Go ahead.
Today, we'll be making scrambled eggs with Parmesan and baby spinach. With that, as a side, we will also have oatmeal. Okay, so first we'll be cooking up the spinach. We'll be cooking that down on the stove. Then after that, we'll be mixing up the eggs pre-scrambled. All right, now that the spinach is cooked down, I'm going to start pre-scrambling these eggs in an individual pot. Then we'll put them in there, we'll cook those down, and once they start to be ready to be finished, we're going to put in a little bit of Parmesan to mix with them. I just mixed in the Parmesan cheese. After that, these eggs will start to finish up their cooking, and then we should be ready to eat. For a meal with no butter in it, it's actually surprisingly buttery, and it's not the spinach and the Parmesan makes a good mix of cheesiness, but not too cholesterol-y. So, I mean, it's a very good meal. It's pretty calorie dense too, because you think these eggs and then the spinach cooked down, that's not too bad on calories. It's also, with these eggs, you get a lot of protein. There are many ways to clean your pots and pans in the camp out and in the outdoors. One of our ways is using one of our professional cleanup colleagues right here. This one's name is Sully. So right now we're getting our oatmeal fixed up. I have the boiling water. And the thing about oatmeal is everybody has their own preference on how thick or thin they want it. So usually you just want them to have their own container so they can pour their amount of boiling water rather than just dumping too much or too little. Now with this cup, I'm being careful not to touch it with the pan because I know it would probably melt it to pieces. Here you go. As nice as this is, there are some drawbacks to using titanium pots and pans. With this, you'll notice that the heat can be a little uneven at times. And so you'll see some parts of here where it burned from the stove and other parts where maybe it didn't cook just quite enough. One of the biggest issues with this is because it's so thin and lightweight, it heats up really fast, but it also cools really fast. Whereas with cast iron, you can get that steady, even heating. Like we see on meals like chili, making tortillas, anything like that, you'll see a lot more cast iron, and it's because it holds its heat like that. Okay, so because of the latest pandemic, I guess you could say, we did have to make some substitutions to our meal plan. For the bread for our lunch, instead of being able to buy a loaf, we actually had to make our own loaf of bread. And for the apples that we had for our snack, we had to replace them with bananas. That was the main part of our substitution. One thing can really change all of your plans that you need. So it's always a good idea to be prepared and always have your substitutes in line when you're getting ready to go out on the camping trip. Another lesson it teaches you is that things may not go the way you want them to go. Originally, I was hoping I could do this with a couple scouts, but no, it's just me and my colleagues here doing our meal planning. But yeah, that's about it. All right, so for lunch, we're going to be having our bread, our commodity cheese, or comad as we call it down here, and non-process is we're going to be taking our bread that we made last night, we're going to be cutting into slices for our sandwiches. Let's go. So the way I cut Spam if I'm making sandwich slices is I cut it while it's still in the can. Not only does this make it a little bit easier to cut, but it also keeps the knife inside of the can, so if it slips, it won't come out and cut you or someone near you. So now, when we take it out, all we have to do is just dump it in, and we've got perfect slices for sandwich meat. Almost perfect. Are you interested? This is actually really good. When my dad was making this bread, he put a little bit of extra sugar in it to help it be a little bit sweeter. And the mix of that sweet bread and then of course the salty pork and the creamy cheese is actually really good. I mean, this tastes amazing. One thing I do want to say before we end this off is I want to say thank you to Aaron, my bus driver. Because of all that's happened in the school close, he's been running lunches out to all the kids near our school and on my bus route especially. I want to say thank you to him for the food he's been giving to the people that live near me and around me. And I want to say thank you for these 2 bananas for our snack. Thank you.